Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. We continue with our recitation from Surat Mahalla Panjwa, compositions of the fifth Nanak, Guru Arjan. This is the 47th Sabad in this stretch, and there are 3 lines to the verses, but we will begin with the message in the Rahau. We are attempting to first go down to the instruction or the reflection to understand the theme. So with that said, the Rahau says, Har ke charan hriday uradhari, sada sada prabh simriye pai, dukh kilbikh katanhar Rahau. So, Har ke charan hriday uradhari, literally enshrine the feet of the herself in your heart. We'll see what feet means. It's wisdom. So do that. Sada sada prabh simriya. Along with that, remain ever mindful of the presence of the prabh self. Now, har and prabh are interchangeable. Remain mindful because the prabh, the har, is the destroyer of afflictions. So charan has this implication, this signification, if you will, of being foundational, because we stand on our feet. They are our support. So what is being said to us, that har ke charan, that should be your foundation, the wisdom of the har. It should be the point of connection between you and that ground of being. Hriday uradhar, place it upon your heart. In other words, seat it at your center. So Har ke charan should become your anchor, the reference point of your inner world. So psychologically, it's being what we are being asked to do is shift from being ego-referenced to naam-referenced. And then sada sada prabh simriye pai. So sada sada prabh simriye suggests that Simran obviously cannot be mechanical repetition, because it is continuous. So what is being suggested here is that Simran should become the natural flow of remembrance, mindfulness, and dukh kilbikh katanhar, suffering, kilbikh, the inner afflictions, guilts, wrongdoings. These are all products of disconnection. So when you connect, that connection becomes the cutter, katanhar, dissolver. So suffering is really disconnection. So establish the divine in the heart as the magnetic center, then remembrance becomes effortless. It's not something mechanical, and it dissolves ego consciousness. So this is the Rahau. Make the har the center of your being. Then remembrance, Simran, will not be something that you have to do at a fixed hour. It will become the natural flow of your heart. Sada sada Simran. And when you live like that, there is no suffering. And then there is this realization in the first verse that the Guru is bringing to us. As a result of that, what is the realization? Bhae Kripal Suami mere, Bhae Kripal Swami mere. Merciful is the Master. This is a realization. That the Sache Darbar, its court, it's eternal. Satguru Tap Gavaya Pai, Thand Pai Sansar. Satguru, the true enlightener, cools the fever of the ego. Satguru Tap Gavaya Pai, and peace is established with the world. Thand Pai Sansar. We'll talk about what this means. Apne ji jant ape rakhe jamhen kiyo hattar. It is the protector, the master, Swami. Swami references that formless, unknowable source from which all manifestation is flowing constantly. So what you recognize is that you actually are not the center. So what does it mean to say that the removal of individual fever of ego leads to a cooling of the world? You see, what happens is when the inner fever dissolves, your perception of the world also transforms. The same world that felt hostile, full of threat, competition, fear, now feels cool, peaceful, supportive. Why? Because the lens of ego is no longer distorting perception. This is the transformation that comes about. So you realize that the fever was never in the world, it was in me. So we are not, so you see the individual and this Satya Darbar, the cosmos, are not separate. It is simply mirroring our inner state. It's structural. So what is inside is being reflected outside. So a healed ego becomes a cooling presence for others. So you're linking personal harmony with social harmony. That's the point that is being made. It begins with the individual. So you see the connection between the Rahau and the first verse, and now the concluding verse. Tiski sarani ubbare pai, jin rachaya sab koi, karan karan samarath so pai, sachai sachi soe, nanak prabhu ਧਿਆਈ pai, man tan siital hoye. Emphasis. In that sanctuary, one is saved. Ubbare. Why? Because that is where we originate. It is the creative womb from which we have emerged. So if you stay in that sanctuary, you are protected. And you recognize Karana Karana Samarat, that it is the underlying cause, all capable. It is the real one, and its creation is also real. So, Satcha, Sachi, Soy. Nanak Prabhu Dhyaaya. So Nanak is inviting us to fix our attention on the Prabh, the Har, the self within, Nam, so that our mind and body may become tranquil. So we have to take refuge not in rituals, not in self-power, but in the source of all of this, the source from where we came. It reframes everything for you. You're not a separate agent fending for survival. You're a wave in the ocean of being, created, held, sustained by the one who made it all. Karan Karan Samvarat, ultimate foundation, fully capable. So therefore, Prabhu Tiya Ye Pai, and again, remember, this is not mechanical recitation. It is the resting of attention in the reality of one. Cooling. This is not simply mental cooling, but also somatic, because mental fevers express themselves somatically in the body. So, establish refuge in the real one. Trust the Creator. Recognize the sufficiency and the sustaining source, and understand that the eternal nature of this reality, and you will experience this coolness. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.